to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper recovery bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning to helping you fight. It's the firekeepers, the firekeepers, 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 recovery. Bumpin' BG, talk recovery. Firekeepers. Welcome to Firekeeper Recovery. I'm Grant.
Bumper Smith.
Paul Badillo.
And we just like to thank Paul for joining us today on this beautiful midday in July. So quick check-in since yesterday. Had a good group today. Glad to see everybody that came. And just had a good change of pace, I guess.
Yeah.
Just different people was talking. Like,
More involvement.
More from Paul today, too.
Yeah, it's always good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, same here. I mean, just it's a beautiful day. Hang out with a couple of dudes who I have a lot of respect for, on this podcast. So, yeah, good group, everything.
I'm doing pretty good. I like today's group. And then I don't know what it was about it. I liked it though. Yeah. Normally it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And today I just felt like talking. But I'm glad to be here.
It's good to have you. Yeah, it's good to have you. So, like I was saying earlier, it's usually just the 5 same questions we ask every guest we have on our podcast. So the first one is, what was it for you that, what did it take for you to move out of active addiction into recovery?
I'd say it had to do with a few things. I mean, at one point, like, me and my girl were sitting there and sick as hell. Just, well, you could say a normal day in addiction.
Yeah.
And we knew at that point we was done with it. The normal saying, tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And we thought about it then, but that's pretty much as far as it went. And then I got locked up a little bit after that. They came to the house. Was like, well, and I was already trying to hide from them. Was trying to get ready for it in a way, I guess. And I got locked up and I was sitting there, and normally I can go in, no problem, been there before, same thing. But when I got there, it just didn't feel the same. Like, I wasn't supposed to be there, like.
Out of place.
Yeah, just, so I started thinking, like, well, what can I do? How can I actually not be here? And, I mean, you got charges. You ain't going nowhere. But basically, how can I make the better of it? So I started talking to my mom and my lawyer, trying to get me back into rehab. And I got kicked out once, so I was kind of wondering if they were even going to let me go back. And they did on a request of I had to answer some questions and give them a reason why this time will be different.
Dang.
That made me sit there and think too. And at first, still being, early on to it, I didn't go too far. I was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to do what I did last time. Like, that should be good enough. But then I was like, maybe that's just not doing that is not going to be anything different.
Yeah.
So I told him, I'm wanting to try this time. Like, it's not me just trying to get out of jail or anything. and they accepted me. But I mean, it was that everything changed. Couldn't trust the same people. Everybody was out for themselves. I mean, that's pretty much every day anyways.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, it just didn't feel right anymore.
Felt like you'd reached
in a
the
way.
end of
Yeah.
it.
And I mean, I've been doing this or that since around 6th grade is when I started. So, and then it was more of a survival thing. And so I guess by now, myself, but not me coming to realize it at first, I guess, how you could say, realize I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done. Let's just do a better way. Because they also said, like, being locked up all the time, you can't be around your significant other or anything. And it's just a back and forth, you know. I'll be locked up, I get out, she be locked up. And I got
Always
tired
missing
of it.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty big revelation, man, especially when you had to fill out the paper that they asked you for. Like, why is it going to be different this time? You know, to really, I guess, have that aha moment of like, well, you know, yeah. It's like that. Your mindset changed. And then, you know, started working on developing a plan for that.
Yeah, I said that was one of the things that helped was, I don't even know if that's what they were trying to do or if, you know, or whatever, but it did help.
It certainly made you think about it, didn't it?
I think you're the hope that they have when they give that to somebody. That change you made is the change they want people to think about it, because I'm sure everybody does come in that first time. I ain't gonna do that again.
Yeah.
And that's, but you actually put thought in it. That's what they saw. That change finally.
Yeah.
They saw a real response
Yeah.
out of you this, you know, that time.
Oh yeah. And even the times that I was in con, a little bit at a time, they would come and be like, hey, like, you're not the same Paul that was here the first time. I said, what do you mean? I feel like I'm the same. And they're like, no, like, you're actually doing it other than just going through it.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, okay, I see what you're talking about.
And people can, you know, when they've known you when you were in active addiction, and they can see the change because they're on the outside looking in, you know.
Yeah.
So when those changes happen, you know, it's obvious to them, but not so much obvious to us. You know,
Yeah.
we're kind of just still trying to figure things out. What things were most helpful to you in your recovery from your family and friends, your support system?
Friends really didn't have too many of those. I still have some, one mainly that I still talk to, and he cheers me on every time I talk to him. 15 minutes he gets, because he's still locked up. And the only other person or other people that helped me along was my girl and her mom and them. I mean, my mom and them were there too, and they came in a little bit after I did. But I don't think we were that close as, I don't know how to put it. We don't really talk that much, and I think that's still somewhat of where from the past where we don't talk about it. So it's just, and I don't think we've ever just got to that point. Hopefully we will soon.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever they're ready to. But my girl's mom and them, like, when I first got out, she'd message me every now, like, at least one time a day, if not two, asking how I was doing, if everything was all right, and just trying to help me along and to, I don't know, keep it in my mind of what I'm doing and everything.
Yeah.
They helped the most.
Having somebody just when you know they're genuinely, checking on you, asking about how things are going with you, or you can feel that when somebody, like, they really care.
Yeah.
They're not just like asking just for the hell of it.
Yeah, like you're going through the store. I say it all the time, like, how are you doing? I mean, most time at work I do, but then sometimes it sucks though, because then it comes as just a reaction when you see somebody.
Yeah, just a greeting.
You're not even, and sometimes I'll even say it, and like they keep walking even though they've asked. They don't wait for the answer. It's like, okay, well, but when you get them people that actually talk and somewhat, I guess, help remind you on what you're doing and that they are there, it helps a lot.
It's always good to have people like that,
Like,
especially in your
I
recovery.
told him last night that I was going to be doing this, but he got happy as hell. He's like, fuck yeah. He's like, you do that. He's like,
Hell yeah.
making.
But what I like, it sounds like, is that you're the leader, it seems like, of your family. You got in and they saw how good you're doing. They're like, that seems like something worth trying.
Yeah.
You inspired them, man.
That's the good thing. So maybe it wasn't your family that helped you up, but you're the one helping your family up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just thankful that you had your girl's family for that. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you had that.
Get my phone back on here. Hate when the screen darks out. What are some of the things that you're most proud of and or grateful for in your recovery?
Holy shit. Pretty much everything. I mean, I have a ride now. I started from transit to a bike that made it back and forth to a better bike, and now I have a car. Just building up to that is awesome.
Man, I gotta tell you, Paul, it was really cool seeing you at groups and seeing your progression. There weren't, you didn't let any of these challenges you had, like with transportation, get in the way of showing up every day. Like if it was, you had to ride transit, that's what you did.
Yeah.
If you had to get a bike and ride it, that's what you did, until ultimately, you were able to get your license and have your own ride. And it's been real cool, man.
Yeah, like, and what helped me get my bike is also Red, because they would give me rides sometimes. And she's like, we ain't no transit. She's like, you need to take up responsibility. And I was like, at first, I was like, what the hell, Red? I just asked for a ride. But then I started talking to her, and she did give me a ride that time. But as we was going, she was telling me, and I was like, okay, I get what you're saying. Like, it's growing up.
Yeah.
So that's when I start doing that. But I mean, I'm also grateful for my job. There are some people there that are in recovery. It is sometimes hard. It was hard being in early recovery and working there, because there are quite a bit of things that happen and that get left there. But when I was first there, like once if that was found, they made sure I was not close to it. They were like, because they'd be like, hey, just have a pocket. And they're like, no, like, we need somebody else to come grab it.
Man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Your employer, took extra measures to not expose you to that stuff. They did what they could to help prevent that.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, and the boss that I have now, she tries to make sure everybody's good, and like no problem. Like when I need a provider meeting or whatever, like she's cool with it, and she works with us. But I mean, there's so much stuff I'm grateful for, like, and have gratitude to just because I have more than what I did.
Yeah.
And back then I thought I had everything. Like I was set for the day, maybe a few days. Like that was good.
Right.
But now that wasn't really nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Back then it was like easy come, easy go.
yeah.
But now it's, you've got stability and security for the foreseeable future, that you built.
Yeah.
That you made that happen.
And I'm really glad Alicia is there. It's like I was there every day, till close.
I did the same thing, man. I did the same thing.
And that's what I try to tell some people too. Like they'll be like, I don't know what to do. Stay here. It's like they close at 4:30. It's like you got until then to be good.
Yep.
Where to watch TV, anything. There's more groups now.
Yeah.
Starting to, like yours. So, I mean, that helps too.
Dang right. All right, so what was some of we talked a little bit about it with transportation, but what were some of the other challenges you faced in your early recovery, and how did you overcome those?
The biggest one I got hit with was when I first got out. Cause when I got locked up, everything was in my room. My girl got locked up. No. It was a little bit after me, but still. So once I got out, all of our stuff is still in my room because nobody touches my room. I didn't think about that before I got out. When somewhat, I was like, oh, in my head, I'm still thinking, oh, it wasn't that bad. So there's not much in there.
Right.
Boy, when I got out, it was everything everywhere. And I had to step back and walk back out of the house, out of my room, close the door, walk out, go smoke. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I was like, and took a minute, finished that cigarette. I was like, I have to do it at some point. I was like, put music on and just started throwing everything away. Started to have a second guess. I threw that in the trash even faster.
Right.
And got it out of there. Like, that was one of the hardest things to do. And then, like, memories come back, and you're like, oh, but this is fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, but no, it wasn't. Like, so that was my main one that hit. And then just find a job. I found one kind of early on at Food Line, but my first one I went was at Arby's, which is literally right next to it. And they were like, oh, we believe in second chances. And I said, okay. And I have an ankle monitor on. And I tell them, like, hey, I got this on, just being up front. And they were like, oh, you're good. Just come grab your uniform. I come in, and then she's like, oh, you got an ankle monitor on. It's like, what happened to second chances?
Yeah.
And so she's like asking if my charges would come up. She's like, go check that. and then come back. She's like, I won't do anything till you come back. I come back. She's like, oh, they already said you can't. So you just gonna wait.
Right.
So, almost quit then. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I was like, ain't nobody going to. And I was sitting in the recovery room, and I was like, you know what? I was like, let's just apply for a bunch of them. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And got a call from Food Line, and it just took off from there.
Heck yeah. That's you know, whenever you got back to your room after you got out, and you walked in your room and you said you had to take a minute and walk back out and, you know, get settled down from being activated, from seeing all that stuff. That shows a lot of awareness, man. You know, and then like you said, you know, whenever the nostalgia kicked in as you were cleaning it, you know, you really took a deeper look into like what really was that fun.
Yeah.
And made the choice to get rid of that stuff anyway. And then applying at Arby's, I can say that management's changed from the time when you applied to now.
Yeah.
Now it's not like it was, you know. But not giving up.
Yeah.
You know, not, you know, getting a case of the fuck, as they say, you know, that didn't happen, you know, you thought it out and thought, well, let me just apply to a bunch of places and see what hits.
Yeah.
And, you know, like you said, the Food Line called you back, and you're doing good there, man. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you're doing real well. You stuck with it, man, through the transit days, through the bicycle days, till now, man. It's pretty fucking awesome.
That's what Dave told me too. Like, some of them that have just started, like they didn't know, and like I was like, they'd be like, oh, I ain't got it right. I said, I rode transit and a bike. And they were like, no. I said, yep, through snow, rain, and everything.
I remember that.
And some of them, like, I'd be talking to them, and I'd just tell them a little bit of my past. Like, yeah, I got false imprisonment, kidnapping, simple assault. They're like, what? I was like, what? And they were like, not you. Yeah. I'd be like, don't mess with me.
Right?
But, I mean, it's weird for them to be like, they don't see that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, to me, I still can. And I guess that's what keeps me humble, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't just be like, oh, that's gone, forget about it. No, like, what happened then, I need to remember so I don't go back.
Right. You know, you've, a lot of people come through Food Line. A lot of people see you. And it's a lot of people that knew how you were and see how you are now. And it's a lot of people, like the ones that whenever you tell them about your charges, they're like, no, not you. Because that's the only side of you that they've gotten to know. But for a lot of people that see you there, that knew you from before, you know, you probably have no idea how many people that you inspire to want to make that change for their own lives, to improve their wellness. I mean, I can remember seeing you cruise around on your bike. You know, there goes Paul, he's going to group. There he's going to work. You know, you've shown a lot of people that, you know, with utilizing your resources around you and a commitment to it, you can succeed, you can improve your wellness, and you can make positive changes in your life.
Yeah. It's a daily thing. And
every day.
Some days are easier than others.
Yeah.
And some days it gets hard.
Yeah. So, last question, and it's probably an obvious question. You know, it usually is for us and the guests we have on here. Where would you be without your recovery?
Damn. But probably ODing, in jail, or very close to one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still struggling, still hoping to make it to the next one, or not be sick. Kind of still wishing it was all over.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you guys, one of the things that I get the most, like, sincere, like, enjoyment out of is seeing guys like you who are doing really well in your recovery, still showing up for groups, still, making it and doing what you're doing. It helps me in a lot of ways. It helps me to remember that, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And that at any time, you guys are somebody that I could relate to and even count on, and if I needed it. And I hope to be someone, in your recovery network as well, And it's just, it makes me proud of our recovery community, of you guys and everybody else that's coming up there and showing up, even when they don't feel like it.
Oh, yeah.
Even when they're not sure if it's what they want to do, they're still showing up. And,
that's the hardest one.
Yeah.
When you don't feel like it.
Hell yeah, it is. Like when, maybe your dose isn't adjusted to where it needs to be, but then, you still manage to get up and show up and be there, get some groups in, talk to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul, you're one of the guys that I think, because I got to see your recovery journey from the beginning when we'd go to groups, and you were always kind of laid back and reserved. And then as you progressed in your recovery, you start opening up a little more, and always had something positive and something useful to contribute to the groups. And so I think for a lot of the younger guys early on in their recoveries, I think they can look to you and see, like, this is how you can do it, and this is how you can improve your wellness, and be an even greater part of the recovery community.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know how to... You see more of yourself or what you did the longer you are clean. It don't really get easier, I guess, because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
Like your triggers, your stuff you're working on. Because before, I look at a pen and get triggered.
Yeah.
Easiest thing to, and now I don't really have a problem with it, but it is other things. Sometimes it's getting that smell that would still hit.
Yep.
And you always have to adjust to what adjusting to the new things you have to, or that you're working on.
It's like a constant journey of self-discovery.
Yeah. No, she's saying at group, she's like, how old she is, how long she's been in group. She's still working on it.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I can just, you think at a certain point you would get it, but it's always changing.
Yep.
And once you think you get it, sometimes it might be when you're in trouble.
Yeah. It's whenever you start letting your foot off the gas. It's whenever you start lowering your guard. That's when you're susceptible to, something coming in, and it just takes that one misstep, and then it can easily cascade into a whole mess of problems.
Yeah. Hydroplane to them.
Yeah. Off the bank or into the bank. Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Right.
But I was like, that's the way you was talking about how recovery is. Like, addiction is probably more like the crabs in the barrel metaphor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Pulling you back in.
Yeah.
So that's why we try to make our recovery more like, if you ever seen like them foreign countries where they build that thing, a thing full of people, then you got to crawl up to the top and grab something. So
Yeah.
you have to have all the people to help that one person get to the top to get that tomato or something, whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever festival it may be. So that's the way I like to visualize the recovery as we do it.
Absolutely.
Everybody helping.
Oh,
Not
Absolutely.
just, I'm helping you because I know you. So
Yeah.
Right.
just help everybody.
Yep.
And if they fall, then we'll be there to
Help catch 'em.
We'll help them crawl back up. We'll
Yep.
still be there holding the bottom.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So I thank Paul for being a part of our base or whatever we got. Whatever, I don't know what it's called, the human pyramid, man.
Foundation.
Yeah, our human foundation of the raised. Reservation Foundation. There you go.
I gotta tell you, this was one of the podcasts, their special guest podcasts I was looking forward to the most. You know, just because getting to watch Paul early on in his recovery and make it to where he is now, it's empowering. You know, to see somebody not let any of their challenges that they faced keep them from achieving what they were after.
Oh yeah, and it was not easy. Like, I mean, when I talk to you sometimes when I was getting my license, and like I'd be like, why ain't it here already? Like, I can't get my license till I get my title. And
Yeah.
they're taking forever. It's like, then you gotta sit there and think, well, it'll happen when it happens.
Yep.
And there's a reason for it taking this long. Maybe learn how to wait, like, or,
Absolutely.
you know, sit back and just relax.
Yeah, it's a lesson, a
There's-
life lesson in patience.
And there happened to be other things that I ended up having to work on.
In the meanwhile,
In turn to finally get my license. And then once that all fall in, boom, my title was there.
Yep.
And I was like,
yep.
okay.
Whenever you just go with the flow, it seems like things just fall into place like dominoes. You know, it just happens it feels like it happens as it's meant to,
Yeah.
and everything works out.
And I like what you said there too, because I had the same situation. On my peer support, I was waiting. Everybody else got their peer support, and I was like, "Where's mine?" And I was like, "They don't like me or whatever." So I finally emailed and they was like, "Oh, you're missing one of your letters." It was just paperwork. I had to just get somebody else to send a letter. Boom, a week later it was here.
Yeah.
So it sometimes is just something we didn't do.
Yeah.
And we're off. And all you forgot to do was sign your name or
Yeah,
something.
just a little small oversight.
And they won't take your whole application or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Check and recheck. And if you want it bad enough, check in on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's because not jumping to conclusions can be like a mental challenge, like because that's what you want to do. You want there has to be reasons why.
Yeah.
You have to know why something ain't happening or working
And
out.
most of the time it's their fault. Like,
Yeah,
it's not me.
Yeah, they misplaced it.
Yeah.
And that has its own set of frustrations. But you just
Who
have
works
to,
there?
yeah, but you just have to, let it ride and trust the process.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was a good podcast, man. I'm glad to finally have you on here, Paul. It's hopefully make a return visit.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah, thank you.
It worked out great.
Yeah, it is.
Like right after you asked, and I was like, well, maybe one day. No,
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's like, and then I missed that time, and then I was like, I went to go ask for the day off, and I looked at the schedule, and she already had this day off, and I was like, hey,
Nice.
that works.
Yeah. I was like, I ain't gonna let Paul wiggle out of this one.
But got anything else?
Nothing immediate.
You got anything you want to, or any events? You got anything to promote?
No.
YouTube page?
Come spend some money at Feed Line.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, want to say your names and we'll go out.
All right, yeah.
I'm Paul.
Bumper Smith.
And I'm Brant Grant. That's Firekeeper Recovery. And as always, remember, we'll leave the light on for you. Eastern Bay, Cherokee, Firekeeper Recovery. We them firekeepers. coming to you live from the mountains of smoke. Firekeeper recovery bringing you hope. If you're living in darkness, look for the light, cause our fire is burning and they're helping you fight. It's the firekeepers, 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 firekeepers. Recovery, bumping BG, talk recovery.